I grew up in a small town in Oldham County, Pee Valley. I did show choir, gymnastics, ice skating, ballet. You can imagine what kind of rumors were circulating about me in high school. To top it all off, I grew up Mormon with a very stringent life that was mapped out. Baptized at 8, priested at 12, serve a Mormon mission, come back, go to BYU, get married, and have as many kids as you can push out. That was not to be. I do remember grappling with myself, because when you grow up in a very kind of fixated Mormon faith, you have a hard time seeing outside the path that was laid for you. You don't have the strength really to start visualizing a life outside of the Mormon realm. And so I secretly, when these rumors would come back that, oh, Jason might be gay, Jason likes guys, I would double down. I would try to fixate on how I could dress more like the straight guys and the jocks in my group. I tried to live a life like, oh, I'm really just talented and I just like to do artistic things. I'm a Renaissance guy. But that wasn't true. It was much more deeper than that. I enjoyed my time in high school, but I was constantly living in fear of the gossip and rumors that would unravel my life, and I had to be stronger and better than that. But I didn't really have the inner strength to be true to who I was. Later, I would go to BYU, 1,000 miles away, fresh off my mission trip where I had been subjected to a rigorous routine. Now I could start doing my own thing and try to figure out. Notwithstanding, I found a theater group. BYU requires dance classes, which is crazy to me. And so I got in all of them. I did ballroom, and ballet, jazz, and tap. I got back in gymnastics again. I was enjoying being myself and finding now communities that were embracing my theater and embracing the dance. And I was no longer living in fear of gossip about me and being involved in those activities. It was more a time for me to be my own person. I found many gay people that I enjoyed talking. I made many new friends, and a whole life was kind of opening up around me. Well, come to find out that really a Mormon upbringing and network doesn't really respect state boundaries. And very quickly, word had gotten back to my parents in Oldham County that I was living a gay lifestyle, as they would say back then. And I remember driving to downtown Salt Lake to go to the mall, and I get this call from my mom. And she goes, hey, we've been hearing rumors about you. And I knew what was going to come next. And I said, well, it's always important to go to the source. And she did. And I remember her asking if I was gay and having that moment, do I lie, do I tell the truth? And I think at this point, due to some really good books I read while at BYU that kind of opened me up to wanting to live your life based on who you are and who you want to be and not who someone has told you to be. And I realized that was a moment defining for myself that I need to let them know the truth, and I did. What ensued wasn't good. My dad cried, which I'd never heard him cry before. My mom argued with me for like an hour, and I just kept circling the mall over and over again. I'm not really sure how to get off. But when we did, I felt a relief. And I was kind of excited, like, okay, well, I dodged that bullet. Still at BYU, and continue with my classes. Well, BYU has something called the Honor Code. And that's how they get around forcing you to obey or abide by all of their rules. And one of them, of course, is you can't live a gay lifestyle. And gossip again got the worst of me, and I was pulled into the Honor Code office to defend, I guess, these allegations. And I was definitely guilty until proven innocent. And they confronted me, and I agreed to many of the things, and then said, well, if you want to stay, you have to agree not to have gay friends, you have to agree not to visit gay places, talk to gay people. And so it was then, I remember thinking, how can I stay here? And so I left and moved back to Louisville, and it took my family probably a decade to fully accept me. But in 2019, got married to my husband, Mike, who's here tonight. Were there supporting, and I felt loved. And it was amazing that though I didn't have the strength then, gossip is what made me live in fear, but it's also what set me free.
Jason, thank you, Jason, for sharing that. Appreciate that. You know, it occurs to me that the policy that the BYU official laid out for you was, in addition to being retro and homophobic, also really impractical. Like, you can't talk to gay people. Well, how are you supposed to know? Do you have to like poll everybody? So I need some directions. But before I ask you for direction,
8.8.
8.8. All right, thank you, judges. Let's hit every time the judges score. Thank you. It's a critical part of the whole operation. The Heathers.
9.2.
9.2. Spilled tea. 9.1. 9.1. All right.